Hello and welcome. In the spirit of my brand new book, The Delicate Art of Transformation, I've been on a quest for truth. What does it actually take to create real, lasting transformation? And here you are on the precipice of something big. I don't think that's a coincidence that we should ignore. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the True Transformation Summit. This is where true growth and transformation happens because sometimes it's about your mindset. You're working on your thoughts and your beliefs. Sometimes it's about connecting deeper with your body. Sometimes it's stepping into success and rewiring yourself for wealth. And sometimes it's a spiritual one. But when the right person says the right thing at the right time and it all clicks, those are the moments that make all the difference. And that is what this summit is here for. You're going to hear from some incredible experts who every single one I personally invited to be here because each of them have made an impact in my life. So listen with an open heart, do what they say, take what resonates, try the practices, get their free gifts, and let this space be the place where you find your next step. My name is Talia Joy. I'm your host. And if you want all the free gifts, the resources, and the only place where you can be entered for prizes, you can join the Insider Circle for free below. All right, without further ado, take a deep breath in. Think about what you are transforming, what you are here for. And let's dive into today's episode. Hello, Andrea. Welcome to the True Transformation Summit. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm feeling alive. I'm sitting in this sunny room across from a vineyard. Like my dog is at the door. Like I'm just having such a beautiful morning, the opposite of your morning, and totally here for it.
It sounds so beautiful. I love when the sun is shining. It's shining here too. For everyone listening, I did not, let's clarify, I'm not bad vibes. I had a chaotic morning and there's a few factors. And so I have a warm blanket on my lap and I've got my coffee and Andrea's going to guide us through this incredible conversation. No, but yes, I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much for joining us and for coming in and being a voice in this summit. I asked you because you not only have, all the IFS knowledge you have that I think is so important when we're going through a true transformation. For anyone who hasn't heard of IFS or is new to it, we're going to dive into it. I'm going to get Andrea to explain it. But you bring it in such a grounded way. Whenever I listen to you speaking about it, when I'm learning from you, I feel very much not like it's, you should do this, you should do that, and really understanding yourself, understanding these different parts, knowing it's okay, moving forward over perfection. And I just love your tone. You're grounded in it. And I just want to learn from you. So that's why I personally invited you to be here. And I'm so honored that you are here and sharing with us today.
Yay, me too. And thank you. I received that. I think IFS is such a powerful modality, but having somebody that can ground it, because it can sound very esoteric, very woo-woo, like parts, what is this? And so being able to explain it so that we can actually apply it in real life is really the whole point.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. So let's just start with, for anybody who is new to your world, who are you and a little bit about your business and what you do?
I am a self-trust coach and an IFS practitioner. I help ambitious women build unshakable self-trust to listen to their inner knowing, lead from inner authority, and take bold, aligned action to create extraordinary lives.
That is incredible. And I'd love to hear a little bit about, before we get into what IFS is and the parts work and all of that, what led you there? Because this is what you're saying, you help us to feel and be. So where did IFS come into your journey and how does that kind of fold into it?
Yeah, let's see, I guess the place to begin this story is I was already working as a coach. I had already certified as a master coach. And I was curious about it. I kept learning about IFS and it was part of my coaching training. And I'm of the belief in my practice that I can't take my clients somewhere that I haven't gone before. And so it started, actually, my initial curiosity was professionally driven. I was I'm going to hire my own coach and go into this myself so that I can be embodied in it when I bring it to my clients. And holy moly, did it ever change the game completely? Because I didn't realize just how, parts led I was in my life. And a lot of us are. We're run by our manager parts, the ones that keep us organized and keep us getting ahead, whether that's in, our daily life or even in our personal development journey. And what I was able to uncover in myself was, the doubt and the fear and the hesitation and my kind of like holding back from going all in on my business or certain relationships. And it was really through over time working with my parts that changed the way I relate to my business so that it was easier. I could be more embodied in myself. I could be making my own choices rather than what somebody else was telling me to do. My relationships got easier, they got deeper. I was able to show up more authentically. My life just felt so much more fulfilled. And I was like, hang on, like this, there's really something here. Like this is the missing piece. And so the more I was able to embody it in my life and then coach my clients through how their parts were showing up, there was just this amazing trickle down effect where it was impacting everything. Um, and so I was somebody who was already in the work when I found parts work. Like I had done a ton already. Um, and I was like, do I really need to do more work? And still, there was a deeper layer of my own embodiment that I was only able to access through this work.
Yeah, wow. You describe it so well in like the impact that it has, because you're right. And it's incredible how we go through this journey and we learn all this stuff, but even through that, and I'll call it the transformation trap, or sometimes it's still your drill sergeant in charge going like, we need to heal more, we need to do this, learn that, identify the core wound. None of those things are bad, but as you're going to speak to, and as you're already speaking to, who are you being? Where is it led from? The healing work, the going for a jog, the taking action in your business. What part of you is leading that boat? That's what makes all the difference. I don't know why it's a boat right now. It's usually a train, often a bus, but right now we're doing a boat. Yeah, I just love this so much. So for anyone who is like even more new to the parts work, and already we're saying like your parts are you're led, and they're like, what part is, am I exposing myself? Can you just break it down a little bit more what IFS is?
Yes, absolutely. So IFS is based on the work of Dr. Richard Schwartz. He's developed a whole institution. And it's the idea that we are inherently multiple, that inside of us, we have a bunch of different parts with their own ideas and interpretations and desires and intentions. And, you might notice your parts very simply. They're called parts really because that's how we speak about them naturally in our life,
Mm.
right? Like if I was invited to go to a party tonight, guaranteed a part of me would want to go and a part of me would want to stay home.
Mm.
Right? This is how we think about things, right? Oh, a part of me wants to launch this program. A part of me is afraid. A part of me
Mm.
wants to get a dog. A part of me really doesn't want to deal with the responsibility of a dog. Right? It's called parts work just because that's how we naturally talk about it.
Mm.
When we kind of dive more into those binaries, or what we would call these internal polarizations, we find there's a whole network or a family in this complex system that are like in your regular family, that are playing off of each other and have their own dynamics. And most of the time, our parts are choosing for us, whether that's a doubtful part, a perfectionist part, a people pleasing part, a procrastinator, a really rigid part, or scared parts.
Mm.
But it's also to say, like, we have visionary parts and we have ambitious parts and we have parts that are, have a really great intention for our future. Like, they're not all bad. No parts are bad, but sometimes they're trying to protect us by keeping us small and safe. Sometimes they're protecting our vision or our dream and where they want us to go. But the idea in internal family systems is that the parts aren't you. The parts are patterns and systems and beliefs that we've learned over time, generally from a place of protection, But where true transformation happens is not when our parts are leading, but when self is, our true self, right? Our capital S, where when we're tapped into that, and you probably know this, it's like, oh, that's me, right?
Mm.
That's who I am. And self energy doesn't have an agenda. It doesn't have a strong urgency like our parts do. Self energy, where true transformation happens, is slower. It's
Mm.
sustainable. It's more authentic. It's grounded. It's true because it's just like deeply in our body. It's just who we are. And when transformation can come from that place, that's a game changer.
Absolutely. And as I was touching on, the drive to heal, the drive to start a business, like you're saying, imagine it led from self energy
Yeah.
versus these parts that are controlling or whatever else. And I love that you're saying, I've never thought about it. They're called parts simply because that's how we relate to them. I knew it was called parts work. I thought it's just a very simple way to describe it, right? But you're right. That's how we talk about it with ourselves. Oh, there's a part of me that wants to do this, but a part of me is so scared. And that's just how we speak. And I feel like this awareness of the parts, for me anyway, made it that like the part of me that's scared isn't wrong and bad. It's almost like we talk about it anyway. We say there's a part of us that wants to do this, but in that is this little coating of almost shame. Like, oh, there's a part of me that just keeps, doing that. And we kind of say it like it's bad, or we shame ourselves like we need to get rid of it. But the beauty of what you're speaking to in IFS is like that part is there. So we bring it out like to the table, right? Everybody's welcome here. Instead of knowing it's there, but hating it or wishing it wasn't or thinking it's bad, we actually just allow it to be there. So it feels like it's also rooted in acceptance of all these parts of us. Would you say that too?
100%. You said that so well. By even identifying, right? Okay, a part of me is so scared right now. And even in that, you mentioned another one, right? The shameful one, the one that's ashamed of it, right? The one that believes, oh, that part should not be there. No, no, no,
Mm.
no. The part's allowed to be there, but through discernment, we get to choose, do I want to choose from that scared part?
Mhm.
Right? No, it can still be scared, and I can still decide to do what it is that I want to do. But by being aware of it and bringing it to the table, we get to accept it. And really, what it comes down to is relationship. We are developing a completely different relationship with ourselves. And so, sometimes my clients are like, oh my God, Andrea, I have a million parts. Are we going to be working together for the next 25 years? No, absolutely not. Generally, I'm somebody's last coach, which I am like, I love. If you can get to a place where you don't need to find a coach or a therapist because you are good, that is my goal. But the more we work with our parts, it's not like we have to heal one and then the other and then the other and the other. What you're actually learning to do is transform your relationship to yourself, right? You're relating to these parts differently, right? Because if we want better habits or clearer decisions or more courage, but we're running on a system that doesn't trust our own signals, we aren't going to shift in the long run. But when we bring acceptance to these parts, we're bringing acceptance to ourselves. When we're bringing
Mm.
compassion to these parts, we're developing the capacity for self compassion. When we're bringing calmness to these parts that are there, guess what? You're finding that fucking internal peace that you have always wanted.
Mm.
The part doesn't need to go away. We just relate to it differently. And so, real transformation isn't about doing more or mastering your whole system. It's this homecoming and trusting what you find there, and everything else is downstream from that.
Absolutely. I absolutely love that. It's so powerful because whether we want to call it the shadow or the inner child or whatever else we've learned, as soon as you start to identify those things, it's deeply healing. I noticed that even once I was aware of like an abandonment wound and then I could see it come up in my life, I'm like, oh, whoa, that feels familiar. So it's almost like this work is it's like the progression of all that, where we almost accept all these parts and see them for what they are, see them as like, hey, yo, protector, you're coming out strong. Or the part of me that wants to bolt, the part of me, as you said, feels shame about the other parts, sneaky, sneaky. They're all linking arms back there, you know? But we don't have to decode the system forever. As you said, we're already knee deep in growth. We know a lot of this stuff. We've uncovered a lot of things that this parts work almost just lets it all be there instead of endlessly trying to fix it. And I think to me, that's really, I don't want to say evolved, but I do feel like growth and healing and even manifestation, it's evolving. It's about who you be and the totality of who you are, not just high vibes only and not just isolated this and that. And it just feels like this parts work helps me anyway to, meld these all and notice, yeah, there's a part of me that's scared shitless, but there's also a part of me that's so excited. And if I just hug you both and we do a little group hug, then I can feel like I can move forward. It's like, it's okay. Let's link arms and move forward into this, the scared part, the brave part, whatever else. And I love that freedom. It just feels like freedom.
Yeah, it is. I love the word that you use, that it is really a progression. I mean, that's how parts where it came in for me in my life. And a lot of the women that come to me are like, Andrea, I have done so much work. I'm like, I know, babe. Like, I know. I believe that. And still, we get to bridge that. And
Mm-hmm.
the bridge is the relating. And the way that you just described it was like, okay, let's link arms, right? Because we have so much awareness and to a point where self-aware to a fault, right? Okay, let's bring that awareness. And now we need to start to relate differently to it. And that's really hard to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is really hard to do when the default is shame, when the default is judgment, when the default is like, just get out of here already. And that's where somebody like me that can guide you into that relationship, really from your head to your heart, is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Because saying just simply, okay, like let's link arms, if there are strong protectors and you're like, no, I don't actually believe this, like how to feel that genuinely, which is 1,000,000% possible. And it's not as hard as you think. You need a guide,
Mm-hmm.
right? Otherwise, we just stay thinking about it. And it's a cute idea that makes a lot of sense, but it doesn't land until somebody shows you how.
Yeah, absolutely. And then when it clicks, like you said, you don't need the same work forever and to cure all the pieces of you and whatever, because it's not about that anymore. But I agree. It's like until you're aware and you have someone walk you through it and you really learn it, it's still ping ponging. Like I'll experience that myself or with my clients. It's like, oh, I just, but I also want to, and we don't know which voice that it is. It can feel unclear until you have someone like yourself to walk us through it. And so for anyone that's, really feeling this, where can we start as far as, I almost want to say, how can we start to tune into self energy, or what are some cues when you're in that space, even some really short practices before you need to make a big decision, just as we're starting to tiptoe into this more? What is that self energy all about?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're in those like ping pongy, we call it polarized states, it sort of feels like popcorn and it feels confusing and it feels overwhelming. One
And
really
every side has a valid point, and you're like, I know, but well, I know, but good point, but oh.
Yeah, we get off the battlefield. Like we have to just like, however we do this, sometimes you take a breath, sometimes you visualize the parts outside of you, and sometimes just being able to externalize by thinking like, which part of me is driving this? Like, who is here right now? And then that gives you this space to go, oh, okay, there's a scared one here. Oh, okay, there's a part over here with a strong agenda that really wants me to do XYZ. Okay, those are parts. And then you have a little bit of space. And so the question, which part of me is driving this, is huge. And that in that moment is going to be really helpful. But also the question, or even just starting to name your parts as parts,
Mm-hmm.
right? People will often use language like, oh, I'm such a procrastinator. I'm such a people pleaser. Oh, I get so angry. Even if we can take that moment as a moment to externalize our parts, okay, yeah, a part of me gets really angry about
Mm-hmm.
this, right? A part of me procrastinates. It's not all of you. Right? A part of me tends to people please in these situations. Again, gives you a little bit of space. In that space, you have control. In that space, you have choice. And that's where self energy is. So self energy is all about, like I said, when people are tapped into self energy, it's like, oh, okay, this is me. It's not saying that all of that has disappeared, but you've got room from it. And you have this capacity to feel, well, first of all, you have capacity, right? You have a sense of calm, you have a sense of courage, you have a sense of clarity, perhaps not of the whole map, but of at least one step. And you're okay without having all of the certainty in the world. So self energy, can sometimes get misconstrued as like, being on a permanent psychedelic trip. And it's absolutely not that. But it is these moments of just like calm and clarity that you get to have more and more and more of when your parts begin to settle.
That's so beautiful. And I also would add that in that space is where you also hear, sense, feel your intuition. If you're someone who desires to speak to spirit guides or, higher consciousness ideas dropping in and things like that, it's from that space. Because as we all know, the ego or the critical thinker, the protector, the reacting part, whatever it is not the space where your intuition, because it's speaking so gently, and then all those other parts are so loud. So yeah, I was just going to add that as well, is like that's where we find that space to hear spirit, to hear our inner voice, to receive clarity, to receive creative ideas, all of that.
Yeah, I'm so glad you named it. And that's exactly it. And that's where I see IFS as such a spiritual practice as well. Because when we are really tapped into self energy, our intuition is clear. We have the ability to act on our intuition. We get downloads because we're just so much more tapped in. The way that I see it is almost like self energy, like is the gateway to our higher consciousness or whatever is bigger than us. So the more we can get our parts to settle by externalizing them, coming back into self more and more frequently, the more access we have to that.
Yeah, that's
Mhm.
beautiful. And I love how it externalizes it, but it's also internal, because that can feel like a little bit of an oxymoron. I feel like all truth and growth, it's all oxymorons. It's like everything has its opposite. That's also true. It's like, what? But it feels like it's all you, but it's not all you. So when you said a few minutes ago, and I just loved it so much, it's like, instead of I'm a procrastinator, there's a part of me that's a procrastinator. That separates the procrastinator from you, but it is a part of you. So I love how it's a part of you that we can link arms with and learn to either accept or love or whatever the journey is. But it also isn't you. And I just want everyone to really feel that those traits that they feel they are, or I never, or I can't, or I am bad with money. There's a part of me that's bad with money. Or like you said, there's a part of me that procrastinates, but I would ask, there's a part of you that can get shit done when you are inspired, when you're lit up, when it's go time. I know there's a part of you that can, go full tilt into something you're passionate about. So there's only a part of you that procrastinates, not all of you, as you said. And I just kind of wanted to land on that again, because I think it's so important to differentiate.
Yeah, so well said.
Oh, thank you so, so much. And you have a free gift for us. It's an audio thing. Tell us about this.
Yeah, so I recently published my first book. It is called The Self Trust Journal, which guides people through my self trust blueprint, which I've developed. And so there's questions and anecdotes and case studies and teaching interwoven into this journal experience. But I also created a free audio that goes with it. And it is called Nothing Is Wrong with You. And
Oh,
you don't have to have the journal to be able to tap into the audio. If you want to grab it, cool. It's on Amazon, but Yeah, Nothing Is Wrong with You is just a private audio experience. I was thinking of it kind of like a behind the veil, like author experience. And I'm walking people through the phases of the journal, and we're going deeper with stories, and I'm sharing some of the practices and what it looks like, and sharing more of my own experience, really with the theme of nothing is wrong with you. Even if you have all of these parts, even if things don't feel clear, even if you are feeling stuck or confused, nothing is wrong with you.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. I'm going to put the link below. And we're also in the prize draw this week. You are also giving away a signed copy of your book to one lucky winner, as well as some coaching, which is a value of $500, you guys, which even that, I have a feeling like, what's the value of changing your life? Like, how can you even put money on it? But somebody's going to win a 90-minute session with Andrea. So holy moly, get in the insider circle to be put into the draw. Thank you for those generous gifts, Andrea.
Yes, you're so welcome. Yes, if you win the book, I will give you a signed copy and write you a little note. And definitely be in the inner circle so that you can grab or be put in the draw for the coaching call. It's a 90-minute IFS coaching session. So if you're like, what is this all about? I want to dive in. That would be a great place to start.
Oh, amazing. So generous. Okay. So, last words when it comes to making true transformation and looking at our parts, being self led, whatever it is you want to jam on, whatever last thing you want to say, what makes all the difference when it comes to true transformation?
Your relationship with yourself. Most people are trying to transform their behavior before they transform their relationship with themselves. And so by doing the work with your parts, if you want your better habits, you want clear decisions, you want more courage, but you're still running a system that doesn't trust itself. Real transformation isn't about doing more or knowing more. It's about coming home to that capital S self and trusting what you find there.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. Thank you so much for what you do, this powerful conversation. I'm going to put all the links below. If someone wants to follow along, where do you hang out on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Andrea Tessier Coaching. Come say hi there, send me a DM, let me know that you heard this. I respond to every single one.
Yay. Oh, thank you so much. Again, all the links are below. Thank you, Andrea. This was amazing. Appreciate it so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the True Transformation Summit. If you want to take your own personal transformation deeper, grab a copy of my book, The Delicate Art of Transformation, and make sure to tune in to the next guest expert. Have a fantastic day.